Hello, everyone, and welcome to our weekly trading educational class, where today I want to talk to you about the key to capturing huge gains. Now, a lot of traders are happy with having these intraday trades and having these small gains pile up, but a lot of traders like to look for these big, really huge gains. So today we're going to share with you a technique and a method in which specifically designed you can do that. For example, let's take a look at this chart here in APP. We see here that it's gone straight up and had a really tremendous gain. Well, what I'm going to share with you is how you could have purchased right here and potentially captured upwards of 400 points. So that's going to be the subject of today's class, the key to capturing these huge gains. And everything you'll see today is displayed on the platform that I developed with Pro Trader Strategies. It's our PTS Primo charting platform. This is the educational platform that actually helps you capture these huge gains. And we'll show you in a process that you can apply on the platform. So welcome, my name is Steven Primo, President and Founder of Specialist Trading. If you're new to our webinars, we are really all about educating you. I know a lot of people go to webinars and they say, well, I hope this guy talks about what he thinks the market's going to do, or I hope he says what he thinks the best stock is to buy or to sell. We don't do that here. If you've come thinking I'm going to be speaking about that, you've come to the wrong place, because as an educator, our goal is simply to teach you how to trade, not to trade for you. You see, it's our belief that that's what's missing from most traders' trading plans. You're most likely taking your cue from someone or something else telling you what to buy or what to sell, going to trading rooms, to chat rooms, right? Or having this software that automatically spits out what to buy or sell, or listening to someone on TV telling you what to buy or sell. That's all well and good. That's good information. But ultimately, you must do your own research and apply your own process so that you can decide for yourself what to buy and sell. Now, I know this from firsthand experience because I was taught the same way when I first started trading 48 years ago. I started my career on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was on the floor for 16 years, and 9 of those years I was a specialist. A specialist is someone who made markets in roughly about 50 or 60 stocks. So I did that. I made markets in a lot of stocks. And for the first year or two of my trading career, I couldn't really make ends meet. I was having a difficult time because I was doing most likely the same things you were taught. Same thing that were taught to me 48 years ago, most traders are being taught as well, to listen to someone and to have them decide for you what to buy or sell. It wasn't until my mentor said, listen, Steve, that is good information. You should study and take that information, but ultimately you have to make your own trading decisions. So this is the backbone behind all of our education to all of our students around the world. We want to educate you so that you can make your own trading decisions. In our opinion, this is the only way one becomes a consistent trader. So that's our goal, that's the purpose, and that's the special thing that we provide for all of our students. Now, before we begin, before I show you a lot of performance results using this particular method, this is our disclaimer, so please take a moment to review it. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. And since we are first and foremost an educational company, all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. And as I said earlier, there's a lot of education. That's our main goal, simply to educate traders. So the way to do that is to follow us either on X or to subscribe to YouTube. You can get free daily education on X. I post anywhere from 5 to 7 different snapshots of signals or techniques that have generated signals. Also, if you subscribe to YouTube, we'll have a lot more content on YouTube, and you can follow us there, and you can go on YouTube anytime and see what we've done in the past. So lots of great ways to get more education from us on a daily basis. Okay, with that stated, let's begin. And I'd like to start out with today's theme, and that's this. The big money is made trading weekly charts. Now, I know the majority of traders look at daily bars, and some, like myself, look at intraday bars, but the really big money is made trading weekly charts and higher. But we would start off with weekly charts. So let me talk about the advantages to trading weekly charts. Basically, it reduces noise. How many times have you looked at a daily chart or intraday chart and seen that it just goes straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down? It looks like a Richter scale during an earthquake. It's hard to trade. Well, a weekly chart will reduce that because it's spread out much more. Now, less time is being stopped out because you have less noise and less whipsaw action. You'll be stopped out less. So the intensity is reduced as well. And lastly, there is opportunity for higher gains, as I'll show you in just a minute. So these are the advantages to trading with weekly bar charts, no matter what market and no matter what direction, actually. But we're going to focus on applying it with the PTS-XT. This is one of our most popular as well as most powerful methods. I love this tool. It's amazing because it's designed to do one thing. And let me share with you what that is. It's an indicator designed to identify extreme trends. And the beauty of this is that it does it in advance before the extreme movement has even taken off. So this is the beauty of the PTS-XT. If you only want to trade in those markets that are really taken off to the upside, the PTS-XT is for you. Now, as we look at this chart here, a weekly chart of FCX, this is an older chart, we can see that it's been going straight up, right? And this is the type of market we want to be involved in. Well, if we apply the PTS-XT, what it does is it paints a yellow block around where it determines the extreme trend is. So all you have to do is identify this extreme trend with the PTS-XT. Now, secondly, it's based on multiple proprietary indicators and their relationship to one another. So it's a very complicated formula, but we've taken all the hard work out of it for you and developed it with this large yellow block. And lastly, it's official. The PTS-XT is our most popular trading tool. And I believe the reason why is because it's so simple to apply. And you'll see that in today's process. Okay, so let's go through the weekly trade process for capturing these big gains, okay? And remember, everything you're seeing is displayed and coming from the application using the PTS Primo charting platform. It actually identifies these huge moves in advance. Okay, so here's the process. Step one, just before or after the close on Friday. Remember, we're looking at weekly charts now, so it's not that intense. We can actually take the whole week off and wait till the close or just before the close on Friday. We're going to conduct a weekly PTS-XT scan. So here's the interface of our platform right here. And as you can see, that green strategy tab with all our methods and techniques and strategy, look for the PTS-XT right here and click that on. In the drop-down menu, you'll see all the different categories. Go to the bottom and click on Scan, and this page will appear. This is the scanning page, okay, as you can see. Next, we go over to the far left where all this information is right here, and where it says daily, because it's formatted to scan for daily bars, use that little downward arrow and click on weekly, because we're going to be scanning on a weekly basis. Now go just below it where it says load symbols and load the symbols of whatever market you're interested in. It could be the S&P, the NASDAQ, it could be ETFs. Just for simplicity's sake, let's click on and look at the NASDAQ. And you'll see this spreadsheet appear of all the NASDAQ stocks. And then lastly, click on Scan. And you'll see in the far right-hand corner these green setups right here. Now, this whole process took me about maybe 2 minutes to explain to you. It takes about 5 to 10 seconds to actually apply. Now, if you look here, we're going to step 2. We're going to select stocks to trade that have a bar count of 1. So what does that mean? Well, it means that they've only been in that yellow block for 1 week. So think of it. If this is going to be a stock that's going to take off and have huge gains, that's where you want to get in, right? The very first week, because most likely it's going to continue going higher and higher and higher for weeks to come. So we want to look and identify those stocks that have a bar count of 1, meaning they've only been in a yellow block for this past week. So if you look in the far right-hand corner and we see bar count, we don't want the ones that have been in for 9 weeks or 8 or 7. We go down here to the bottom where they've been in for 1 week, okay? And that's where you see the corresponding 1. Now we go to the left-hand corner where we see the corresponding stocks, and those are the ones to click on and view. Now, for example, if we look at QCOM, we see here that if you went through that scanning process and see that it was in the bar count of 1, and you click up the chart, it would look like this. You would have a yellow block around. Now, if this is going to take off to the upside, this is the bar you actually want to get in on, right? It'll be very close to or either at the low before you have this huge gain. And this brings us to step 3, which is simply to trade. Now, I know that seems obvious, but what we mean by that is that it's your decision. Once again, sure, this is a proprietary indicator, and someone could say, well, Steve, I thought you're not supposed to blindly take signals. Well, you're not. We're providing you this high probability setup, but ultimately it's your choice. This is not a system. And if you want to do the research using some other indicators or some other fundamental news, it's entirely up to you because you're in control. That is the backbone behind all of our education. It's your decision, not ours, because remember, you can only become a consistent trader if you make your own trading decisions. Now, in the course, we also teach you ways in which to exit, ways in which to place your stop. So there's lots of different ways to trade it. And this is all taught within the PTS-XT course so that it will help you in making your own trading decision. So let's say, looking at that example, you decided, well, yeah, I want to actually buy this. This is a good price. I can afford it. We share with you numerous ways on where to place your stop, numerous plays on where to exit. So you do take the signal, and in the following months, you could have potentially captured upwards of 55 points. That's how simple this process is, okay? So that's the process. It took me maybe 5 minutes to explain. It'll probably take you less than a minute to go through on a weekly basis. Let's look at some more recent PTS-XT examples using that exact same process, and then we'll share with you how you could have taken advantage of this in just the last couple of months. Okay, so we're looking at a weekly chart of CRWD. Remember, we're only going to be looking at weekly charts, and we're only going to be looking at buy setups. Once again, click on the PTS-XT on Friday, the end of that week. Click on Scan in the drop-down menu. And you would have seen that this had a bar count of 1, meaning that it was in the yellow block, which means that an extreme uptrend has been identified in advance. So it's up to you now to decide whether you want to take that. Is it too expensive? Do you want to buy options? Would you like to buy some type of spread strategy? It's entirely up to you. Let's say you decided to buy it. Okay, this was coming in. This was at the end of April. 78 points coming into this month. Okay, pretty much went straight up. Here's another example in ZS. Same thing. It's kind of heading upwards, but we don't really have any idea. Click on PTS-XT. Now, if it through the scanning process, once you click on scan, if it identifies that it's in an extreme trend, well, then great, you'll see a yellow block around it. If it doesn't meet all the requirements of the proprietary indicators, well, then no yellow block will be seen. As you can see here, it did identify that an extreme trend was just about to take off to the upside. So let's say you decide to buy here, and once again, coming into this month, 88 points, almost straight up. Now, 88 points means you potentially could have captured 88 points. Some of our students say, well, listen, I took 30 points in like maybe 3 or 4 weeks. That's fine with me. I'll get out. Others may say, no, I'm going to try and cash in for more. I'm going to trail my stop all the way up. The good news is we teach you in the course how to do all of this. It's your decision, once again, how you want to trade. We look at a weekly chart of Microsoft. Just looking at this last bar, going through the process, it was in the first week in May, and it was identified in advance that an extreme trend was most likely to take place, okay? A very high probability. Now, someone would say, how can this be? It looks like nothing's happening here. Well, if you decide to buy or buy the options, look what happened in the following months, coming into the first week in July, up 130 points. Remember, we said the big money can be made looking at these weekly charts. That's why all of these charts are just weekly right now. Here's an example on INTU. Once again, we go through the scan. We see that all the requirements were met. And now this is a buy scenario because an advanced extreme uptrend signal was generated. You decide to buy here in May. 135 points coming into the end of June, beginning of July. Now we look at KLAC. Let's look at this stock here. It looks like it's going kind of upward to sideways, and then it takes off this 1 week. So you're excited, but you say to yourself, wow, you know, it's the end of the week. It's Friday. It's jumped up. I can't buy it this high. I mean, this is an expensive stock, first of all, so I'm going to have to buy an odd lot. And then secondly, you know, it's gapped up. So I don't want to buy at the high and then have it come down. And that guy in that chat room is saying that it's a little bit overbought. So maybe I should just, you know, kind of sit back for a bit and wait for it to come lower. Well, sure, you may be right. It may be overbought. It may go lower. But if we apply the process, the PTS-XT is saying otherwise. It's saying that it has identified in advance that this is the beginning of an extreme uptrend. It's not the beginning of a downward move. It's the beginning of an extreme upward trend. So actually, if you're going to get in, this is the bar you want to get in on. And for the next 2 weeks, nothing happened. So a lot of people would say, well, yeah, see, it was overbought, but you didn't lose anything. It really hasn't gone down that much. And then look what happened after that. It kicked in. And in the following weeks, coming into the first week of this month, you could have potentially captured 140 points. So you see how this first bar here in yellow identified in advance that a big move was about to happen. Here's an example now going up to a higher time frame, because we can even apply this. Let's say if you're a long-term investor, if the big money is found in weekly charts, just think how big the money can be if you have a profitable signal on a monthly time frame. Here's a monthly chart of PLTR. This is going all the way back to October of 2024, all right, almost a year ago. We see that the first yellow block bar was generated right here in October. If you had decided to buy there, it's 108 points coming into this month, okay? Or we look at another monthly chart here, this one in Costco. A buy signal was generated in August of 2023, so just about 2 years ago. Remember, this is if you're a long-term investor. You can still use the same process. Had you decided to buy Costco nearly 2 years ago, you could have potentially captured over 500 points coming into this past month. All right, so let's look at this chart I believe we opened up with, APP. All right, nothing is happening, so let's go through the whole process. What if you were interested in this, but you only wanted to trade it if it was in an extreme uptrend? So the process is, on our platform, you can only do this on our platform, click on PTS-XT Extreme Trend at the end of Friday's trading. In the drop-down menu, click on Scan. And if the requirements are met, you would see a yellow block placed around this weekly bar, just the same way it was in APP. This was in September of last year, okay? Think of it, September of last year. Had you decided to buy it, it would have been a wise decision, because coming in to this year, it was up 400 points that you could have potentially taken advantage of and captured. Now, we know a lot of people do not like to go short, but the PTS-XT can be applied in the reverse category as well. It can look for extreme downtrends. So what we have said to a lot of students who do not like to go short and say, listen, if you are long a particular stock and you want to make sure that you're at least capturing some of your profits, you can use the PTS-XT for exits. Let me share with you what I mean here. Here's an example in AMC going back a while. But let's say you were long this stock and you had a really nice profit, but you are scared that you're worried about the market and you don't want to give up a lot of your gains. So you can apply the PTS-XT the exact same way. These are weekly charts, the exact same way. But instead of, when you scan, instead of looking for bars with a bar count of 1 for an extreme uptrend, you look for bars with a bar count of 1 with an extreme downtrend. These are on the scan as well. And you would have seen here that guess what? You had the beginning of an extreme downward trend, because if you have the first bar painted in a kind of orange-red here, that's telling you that most likely a big move to the downside is about to happen. So if you wanted to use this as an exiting tool, you could have sold your position and exited right here and potentially saved yourself a huge 60-point loss, because it went down 60 points. Now, the reason why we say plus 60 here is because if you're a more aggressive trader, well, sure, you could have used this to go short and captured 60 points to the downside. Here's another example. Let's say you're a long charter and you're starting to get a little worried here. You think, okay, maybe the market is topping out and I've got some nice profits here. I don't want to give it all back and turn it into a loss. So same thing, you apply the PTS-XT and see that this was the first week in the red block. So if you wanted to go short and be a more advanced trader, you could have done that. But if you're more conservative and just want to exit your position, you could have sold here and potentially saved yourself a loss of 115 points to the downside. And then lastly, we can look at a monthly chart. Once again, going out time frame even longer, a monthly chart of BIIB, Biogen. Okay, let's say you got a nice profit in this. You don't want to give it all back. You apply the same process. And if you see that it's the first bar in a red or orangish reddish block, that's your signal to sell. And you could have taken your profits and potentially saved yourself 110 points. Now, if you were more aggressive and didn't mind going short, well, you could have potentially captured 110 points coming into June or July of this year. So there's lots of ways to apply this great, popular, and powerful tool. So let's review what we just shared with you right now. There's a simple 3-step process for capturing these huge gains. You want to conduct a weekly PTS-XT scan. This is either at the close or at the 5 or 10 minutes before the close of Friday, because that's the end of the week. And then you want to select stocks with a bar count of 1. That means that they have only been in the extreme yellow block to the upside for 1 week. So if it's going to take off to the upside, that's the week you want to get in on, the very first bar. And then lastly, you are in charge. You have to make your own trading decision. So many times we've seen people say, well, you know, I joined that other webinar and their platform that they had and their strategy, and I had to take the signal each and every week and each and every day because that's how I could, you know, get the results that they promised me. But, you know, you just weren't seeing the type of results, right? Well, remember, that's because we don't believe in you being forced to take a signal in either to keep up the research results or to stay with the method. It's up to you whether you want to take the trade or not, depending on your account size, depending on what type of risk parameters you want, depending on where you want to enter, and depending on where you want to exit. We teach you all the different variables for this and let you decide. So that's the way true trading should be. And that, in our opinion, is the only way one can become a consistent trader. Remember, the theme of today was the big money is made in trading the weekly charts. So if you've been trading daily charts and you're seeing minimal results, if you're looking for that big money, well, then you have to take it up a step to the weekly chart basis, or even higher if you'd like. So ask yourself, as we do every week, do you think this indicator can help your trading for the remainder of 2025? We are over half through with 2025, if you can believe it. We're already halfway through the year. And I can almost guarantee you the majority of you, we have a big crowd here today, are not seeing the type of results you thought you'd get in January, right? Here is a great way to take your trading to the next level. We have a great offer for all of you taking the time out of your Wednesday here to watch this brief webinar. We're going to offer you what we call our trading in the express lane trend, or PTS-XT extreme trend indicator. This generates these high probability zones, either for trading to the upside or to the downside. And you can apply it to any market. You can apply it to any time frame. You can trade it with your current strategy. A lot of people say, well, Steve, you know, my strategy is okay, so I don't want to give up my strategy. Well, how would you like to only take the signals that were generated from your strategy in an extreme yellow block? Would that, really take your trading to the next level, because you would be only trading in these really express lane trading moments? Now, a lot of traders like to build their own strategy. What they'll do is they'll take the PTS-XT, they'll tinker under the hood, and they'll combine a strategy that only trades in those yellow zones or red zones. The PTS-XT is a great tool because it gives you the confidence to pull the trigger. And lastly, you can apply it to day trading if you like, okay? It doesn't matter. But as I said earlier, the big money is found in the weekly charts or higher with this tool. Now, here's another bonus we're going to offer for all of you. If you're a new customer and you're new to trading with us, if you decide to become a student of mine right now in the PTS-XT, we will give you a full year absolutely free of the platform. So you can be using the platform to scan for a full year absolutely free by joining the PTS-XT course. And with that full year free, you have a host of so many other, just dozens of tools and techniques already included as well that I didn't talk about today because we just don't have the time, that are already pre-formatted on the platform. You'll get one-click access to the PTS-XT indicator. You'll have our enhanced buy sell line. This automatically has 4 different ways to tell you what the overall trend is. A strength of trend tool that we developed that will tell you when a trend is running out of steam or it still has more gas left in the tank. Auto-generated exit level. So if you're wondering about where to exit, this is just one of our different methods for signaling where to exit, and it's auto-generated with one click. But here's what I think is the best thing, and here's what you'll actually need to trade the PTS-XT according to this process. You'll need our signal scanner, which you won't find anywhere else except on the PTS-XT. Now let me share with you what you could have done recently with the PTS-XT and what a lot of our students like to do. They don't really use the PTS-XT for stocks or for different markets. They use it as a market trend identifier. They want to see if the stock market is strongly headed higher or strongly headed lower. So let's apply this to GSPC. The GSPC is the symbol for the S&P 500 index, okay? And here's a weekly chart here. You would go through the same exact process looking at indices. You would, once again, if you thought this was a reversal, this was just going back just about a month ago, you'd go through the same process with the PTS-XT right here. Click it on. In the drop-down menu, click on Scan. Doesn't have to be a stock, can be an indice. And you see right here, this was in the first week of June, just a month ago, a yellow block was painted around the S&P 500. So what was this telling you? Telling you that it's going to be a big move in the stock market to the upside. There's a high probability. And look what happened. So far, coming into this first week in July or so, we've had a movement of 310 points that you could have potentially captured in the S&P 500. That's roughly about 2,500 points in the Dow, close to 3,000 points in the Dow. So this is a great tool for either using individual stocks, or you could use it as a market trend identifier. Wouldn't you like to know if this automatically turns through the opposite direction and turns into an extreme downward trend? The PTS-XT can help you do that. So this is the key to capturing these huge gains. You can apply it for individual stocks, individual markets, or market indices. Take your trading to the next level with the original PTS-XT Extreme Trend Indicator. The reason why we say that is because we've already seen around the internet and through other webinars that people are already copying and trying to imitate this tool. Unfortunately, they just don't have the same type of results that you'll find with the PTS-XT. But fortunately for you, we have the original right here. It was developed through myself and through Pro Trader Strategies. We researched it for years, and we introduced it to the public just a few years ago, and we've had phenomenal results with it. Okay, here's how to take advantage of our Extreme Trend special offer. Now, normally the PTS-XT sells for close to $5,000. It's that powerful and it's that popular of a tool. But here's what we're going to do today. For today only, or for a very limited time, we're going to drop the price down to extremely low, a one-time payment of less than $500. So for less than $500, just $497, a one-time payment, you can already be up and running and just establish a payment plan of $97 per month. That's it. That's how simple it is to get up and going with the PTS-XT Extreme 10. Remember, that includes a full year of the platform. Now, if you have the resources and you say to yourself, you know what, I want to pay in full. Is there any discount I get for that? Do I have to pay $49.95? No, we'll slash it 20%. You pay in full only $39.95. You'll save $1,000 or 20%. This is a great way if you want to pay in full to get a $1,000 discount. Now, either way you want to go to get that $1,000 discount of $39.95, a one-time payment, or the payment plan, a one-time payment of $497 and then a monthly payment of $97, you'll still receive a full year of the platform. Remember, you're going to need the platform to go through that process that I just talked about, the nightly scans. So this is why we're providing for you for a full year, along with all the other different things, tools, techniques, and strategies that are already easily accessible on the platform, free of charge for a year. Here's how to take advantage of this great offer and great discounted offer. Contact Pro Trader Strategies. They're my sister site. I would highly recommend giving them a call at this number, 310-598-6677. They would be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have concerning pricing or costs or discounts or the platform. They're very flexible. There's absolutely no obligation. So if you're interested at all, don't worry. There's no obligation feeling you have to purchase anything. Just remember that this is a limited time offer. Now, that link you see at the bottom is the link that will take you to the info page. Now, it's not a live link, but a live link has been posted on the chat box. So if you go to your little Zoom icon tray there at the top of the screen, just click on that chat box and you'll see a link to the info page. Now, we've reserved the last 5 or 10 minutes for any questions that you may have. If you have any questions, go to the little icon list there and click on either chat or question and answer, Q&A, and I'll answer any question that you may have. Someone's asking, does the PTS-XT repaint? No, it does not. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, repaint means that many indicators do this, by the way. But what that means is, you'll see either a yellow or a red block, and then when the conditions change, when something happens with the market, it will readjust and recalibrate, and all of a sudden maybe that yellow block disappears, or it's around a different bar now. No, we don't really believe in repainting in any of our tools. So once it is established, it will stay there, and as it goes forward, those colors will stay at the close of the bar. Okay, so no, it does not repaint at all. Okay. What about risk parameters? Well, remember, risk parameters, once you're in the trade, you obviously have to have a stop. Because we're not going to say that every trade is guaranteed a huge winner. Maybe a small win and then start to go the other way. But either way, you have to protect yourself. In the course, we have upwards of 6 or 7 different stop placements for you to choose from. So you can decide for yourself. If you're someone who has a very large account, you say, listen, I don't mind taking a large risk. Well, that's great. We show you how you can apply that. If you're someone who doesn't like risk at all and wants a very minimal risk, a very tight stop, we show you how to do that as well. 6 or 7 different ways for stop placement, 6 or 7 different ways for exiting as well. That's the way you learn how to trade, by someone offering you all these variables, and then ultimately, as I said before, to repeat myself, ultimately providing you with this so that you can make your own trading decisions. You see, most people, they'll buy a strategy or a system and say, okay, everyone enters here, everyone exits here, everyone places their stop here. That's not the way to trade. You have to be a part of the process. And when you let someone decide for you all those things, you're taking yourself out of the game. That's not the way to trade. That would, be similar to an airline pilot asking someone once they've taken off, going on the broadcast and saying on the intercom, well, how do you think I should land this trade? How do you think I should fly this if you're going from Los Angeles to New York? I mean, you would be appalled if you heard the pilot saying that, right? You say, wait a minute, you're supposed to know how to do this in advance. But it's no different with trading. You should never ask anyone, where do you think I should exit? Where do you think I should place my stop? You should be given different variables for you to choose from, but you have to decide. So that's the way trading should be. You should be in charge and you should be making your own decisions. The good news is we provide that service for you, and we work with you every step of the way, along the way, so that you can feel comfortable in developing a plan that meets your needs. So come on board. Give Pro Trader Strategies a call at 310-598-6677. You can either call them and ask about more information about the PTS-XT course, or you can place an order or get a quote with them. They're very flexible, but please, there's absolutely no obligation. So don't feel intimidated that you don't want to call or not. This is for a limited time offer, and we don't want you to make a decision 3-4 weeks later and say, you know what, I think I should buy the PTS-XT. I'm just not seeing the type of results I want, but we're back to $5,000 with no platform included. Okay? Take advantage of this. Give them a call. They'd be happy to work with you and give you more information. Okay, as we conclude today's educational class and take one last look at our disclaimer, I just hope you learned something today. I hope you saw our attention to really wanting to educate you and teach you and really take your trading to the next level. But most importantly, we look forward to all of you becoming students of mine in the PTS-XT course. Thank you so much for attending today. I wish you all the best of luck and look forward to seeing you in class. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.